You updated the titles, right, Ted?
Sure did.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Steady, and with me on this episode is the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Joe Garcia.
Oh man, that's JC. You're stepping on JC's plug now, man.
I'm just kidding. He's gonna chew me out when he sees me.
He will, because I was about to do it too. I was like, you can't be doing that, JC, man.
He'll understand. And we have a very special guest with us today. He's a longtime buddy of mine. He's a horror movie buff, and I had to bring him on to talk about Army of the Dead. He goes by Peoples. Welcome to the show, man. Your first time on. Welcome.
Right. I feel special, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I shed a few tears when I got the invite. You know what I'm
saying? It's been a long time in the making, and yeah, man, glad to have you on. I know there's gonna be a lot more because there's like a ton of good horror movies, comic movies coming out this year. So yes. I think you and me kind of feel the same about a lot of the horror movie stuff. So for sure, there's gonna be more times, more opportunities this year to kind of do that thing and get on the show. Thanks for coming on, man.
Looking forward to it. Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Look at what JC said already.
Oh no,
he said I fucked up.
Did I make him mad?
I agree with you, JC. That's all messed up. I'm about to go ahead and go on strike.
Oh man,
we're part of the union, Ted.
The union, the Rob Union.
No,
is that the one?
Jericho Union. We're part of the Jericho Union.
There we go.
Got nothing but love for you, Jericho. Rob, you got to get on the show. Ted, all right, Ted can't handle us both.
Listen, we got a lot of great stuff to talk about. There's been Marvel in the news. There's been DC Comics in the news, talking about animated films and other projects. But first, we're going to talk about the main story of the night, and that's all about Zack Snyder's brand new flick, Army of the Dead. Yes, he's getting back into his zombie movie roots. Everyone remembers the Dawn of the Dead remake. Everybody loves that movie. Ving Rhames was the boss in that movie. It's fantastic. Mekhi Phifer's in that one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and check it out. Great movie. And so he's getting back to his roots, getting back to the zombie movie. And we're here to talk about it. So it's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend you pause this video now. Don't want to spoil anything for you.
Spoiler
Joe,
alert.
We're actually going to spoil some things for you, Joe. I apologize, sir.
Oh, it's okay, man. I'm not missing much, dude.
I know that's how you feel about it, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you don't want to get spoiled, this is your opportunity to pause this video, go check out Army of the Dead on Netflix, or you can probably come back to this video in about a half hour or so, and we'll get into our Marvel news talk and our DC Comics news talk and all that good stuff. So here we go. Army of the Dead, what was promoted as a zombie heist film, takes place in Las Vegas. Lead role by Dave Bautista, who's a favorite amongst comic book movie fans. He plays Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy films and the other MCU films. So I was stoked just him getting to this movie. But it's a great cast, a great ensemble, and a fun ride. Let's just go around. We'll talk about general overview thoughts about the movie. I'm hesitant to start with you, Joe, because I know you didn't get to see the whole thing, but you saw like more than half of it. So, Joe, what are your general overview thoughts about Army of the Dead?
All hype and no substance, brother. Eye candy that looked great. I mean, cinematically, it was great. Zack Snyder does his thing. He's great as far as cinematography, what he's able to do as far as with framing, telling the story with the lens. All that stuff's good, but at the core, story was lacking, dude. But I got to tell you, one of the best parts of the whole movie was the longest intro in cinematic movie history. That was a mini movie in its own. I mean, he like basically took 30 minutes of the film, condensed it into a couple of minutes, and just that intro was lit, man. I got to tell you, I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed watching the first hour of the movie because nothing happened, bro. Nothing. Nothing happened.
I got you.
Nothing happened for an hour and 2 minutes.
So man, speaking truth out here, huh?
Sounds like it.
Yep.
And I wish I could tell you. Well, we'll get into more of it later, but I know that you probably missed some of the highlights of the film, some of the main plot points, kind of getting towards the end. Paples, let's hear from you, man. What were your general overview thoughts about the film without getting into the details just quite yet? Give us your thoughts about it.
I mean, it's Zack Snyder, like he said, I mean, the camera angles is beautiful, as always. Of course, as always, like he said also, the introduction was, a third of the movie, and
no lie, Ted, no lie.
And I thought, my favorite part in that introduction was when that zombie just got blasted. Like he stood up on the car and just bah, 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 and like his whole body just fell apart. Like
with that M60, right?
Like they didn't need to pump that many rounds in that body, dude.
Like after that part right there, I was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to enjoy this movie. Like
I hear that. All right.
So I mean, I mean, also like you said, it was where a story comes in. It's a zombie movie. It didn't really give us nothing about it, but hopefully, come another time, we'll see what happens with the rest.
I gotcha. I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of Joe, and then I'm gonna take it a little bit further, just because I got to see the whole thing. So visually, right? Artistically, visually, cinematically, like it's a 100 across the board. Just like People's mentioned, anytime you see a zombie getting blown up, shoot up, stabbed, torn apart, anything like that, it's just flawless. Everything that they wanted to do, every death scene they wanted to tackle, it works. There's nothing visually that they don't execute to a T. So when there's action, when there's a death, like all that is good, all that's fun, all that's entertaining. Comedy, I wish there was a little bit more comedy in this film. I really thought they had some characters.
The zombie baby was comedy, Ted. Let's be honest.
Oh God. Okay, look, that was weird. I'll give you that. We had some very funny, vibrant, cartoony characters, and there were times when they were being outgoing, energetic, and then there were some lines that were delivered, and it's like, oh, they fell flat. Damn, I was waiting for the punchline, and the punchline didn't come.
I liked Valentine, man. Valentine was dope.
Hey,
Valentine,
yes, I love the tiger. I won't lie. When I first seen, I was like, hey, that tiger. 2 thumbs up for that.
Not only was it a tiger, man, but she was white. She was a white tiger, like they had that
he
on
used
the stage.
a very rare, not just a yellow plain. I love that he went for a white tiger, which is just beautiful. Like I really do. A white tiger, blue eyes, beautiful. They should have did that. The blue eyes on a tiger, that would have been awesome.
It reminded me. It reminded me of that. When they had those stage shows. With those, was it Siegfried and Roy, those white tigers and stuff. That's what I liked. It was like that type of vibe that they were doing from the Las Vegas Strip. That's why I like Valentine. I was like, she's kind of harkening it back, to a throwback to the early 2000s, late 90s, so,
exotic.
Yeah, I like that. I was like, oh, I can mess with Valentine. I like her. You
So
know,
that was one of Siegfried and Roy's tigers. I thought they mentioned that, and they said, "Oh yeah, I used to run around with Roy until whatever happened." So I
maybe
thought they
that's the
actually
one that
called that
bit him.
out. Could be, it could be, and he's still up to his old tricks. So what else? What else was I gonna say? Oh, so comedy. I wish there was a little more comedy in this film. Some parts worked, like some parts didn't, and I really wanted them to. So some of that stuff didn't work. Some of the plot points were a little confusing. The whole premise. I'll get into my detailed talk a little bit, but the whole premise was very like intriguing and exciting, and then kind of the setup was a little bit of like a dud, just like a really that's all it took. Like
I
it
felt
was,
they rushed it.
yeah, you could have spent a little bit more time kind of building up the setup and then get going later on. Dave Bautista, it carries all the weight of this film. Like anything that is relevant to being an emotional engagement for the audience is just carried by Dave Bautista, and he does as much as he can with the material that he's given. Am I 100% committed to the emotion they want the audience to feel? Not exactly. But am I mostly there? Sure. I'm going along for the ride. The emotional beats are there. I'm not 100% committed or engaged with the emotional beats, but for the most part, I'm mostly engaged. Not 100% though. So like I said, I think we're going to talk about this like it's a comic book movie or if it's like it's something else. But we always got to remember it is a zombie movie. Like it is the wackiest story. We're not supposed to go along with it, take it too seriously. But let's go ahead and get into it now. And let's start with our main character, Dave Bautista, who plays this ex-military guy. Um, when Vegas first falls, he eventually loses his wife. He kind of gets separated from his daughter for many years. And then Hiroyuki Sanada, who just played a badass Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, by the way, shows up to his job site and says, "Hey, would you like to make some money?" And it doesn't take a whole lot of convincing. And I feel like there should have been a little bit more of a sales pitch.
Incentive.
Yeah. Sonata should have been a little bit more like pushy and say, like, no, I need you to do this. There's a lot invested for you. And, none of that happened. It was just like, hey, I have an idea.
There you go.
It's like, say less.
Hey, right.
I'm in.
I see you flipping burgers. You want to make $1 or $2,
So it's like that was really easy to convince this guy to like, hey, there's like 1 million zombies in this, 10-mile square foot area. I want you to go in and break into this unbreakable vault and steal all this cash and somehow get out. Like it feels like there should be a little bit more decision going into it.
I mean, like I want to say that, with you saying that, yeah, I see where you're coming from, where, he should have just given him a bit more of a selling pitch, you can say, to make you be like, hey, you know what, this sounds like, but at the same time, looking at how like some big ass dude just over the flipping burgers, just saved the president, he just said, I guess you can say. And like so here's just the fact that you can tell he was like, yo, I know my situation. I'm not blind. You can tell with that being said right there that he just needed something other than flipping burgers. He wanted to get back into that lifestyle, because clearly what he was doing he was not happy with. So when he was like, you know what I'm saying? So when he offered it, he just, like you said, say no more. 50 million and I can kill, say no more now.
Let me stop you right there.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm in.
Yeah. Where do I sign? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that premise though, it just didn't seem believable to me. Like if you want to get somebody and you want them to do something, you got to dingle the carrot in front of them. In this instance, if the businessman, which is a businessman that works in Vegas, come on now, he's probably seen his share of things go down. You want to give somebody that incentive. You kidnap his daughter, you hold her, you show him a picture or a video of where she's at and say, go get my money. You know, I don't even got to pay you. There's your incentive. Go get my money.
To the dark side.
Go get my money. You know, there's your incentive. There's the carrot. Go get my money. You know,
he's also talking to like a 300 solid muscle pound Black Hawk military vet. I don't know what he is, but like, you can't threaten somebody who's like twice your size and all
if
that.
I got
At least
you,
I would.
if he has somebody hostage, he can do whatever he wants.
I feel like he would have handled himself just fine. But yeah, let's go with that.
I mean, he has a point. I know you say he's big and strong, but look at Lex Luthor and Batman vs Superman. A god versus a little man. He had his mom. She's like, where is she? Like, I don't know. That's about. I wouldn't let him tell me.
That would have been more incentive for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. To me, the premise of the movie was kind of a dud.
It's out there.
It was a dud. It was out there. They tried a lot of different things. One of the things that I thought was interesting enough is that they kind of had a hive mentality with the zombies, which I thought, okay, this could work, and they showed more that the zombie some of them were more than just, these mindless monsters. They actually had a thought process behind them. They had their own personalities, and that one was with child. So I mean, I don't even know, bro, how that even works. I don't even want to know how that even works.
Well, what they say, he grew hair, so he wasn't dead, So if he grew on her, he probably still had, semen, you can say, if I can say that word. Yeah. We're able to reproduce. But with that being said, what I don't understand is, I understand the story, his history they try to throw behind him where he growing her, he's not dead, or they experiment on it. But
yeah,
so it's like, if he bites and kills somebody, or do they die? Because how was she able to get pregnant? The queen.
Yeah.
Because supposedly he supposed to be like this, the only one experiment on, but he biting people. Like, I don't.
He's definitely like, what do they call it? Not Citizen One. He's case number one, whatever they're known as.
Case zero.
And
payload.
Patient zero. That's what it is. He's patient zero. You know what? If we go back to that after the opening scene, right? Like, all that works for me. Military carrying in this secret payload. They don't tell them what it is.
Area 51.
It's out of Area 51. They're all like, what is it, the Holy Grail? No, man. It's the original Declaration of Independence, the one they signed in blood. Like, all that's funny stuff to me. So I'm liking all that. And then the whole crash and all that, it getting out, and the whole, I'm on board with the zombies, having the brain dead ones, and then you have these feral ones that have a little bit more control. It's more about this virus that kind of takes over the body, as opposed to like coming back, being reanimated after being dead. It's not that per se, but it is this sort of virus sort of taking over the host.
Yeah.
And then they have a little bit more communication skills. They have the faster speed. They're a little bit stronger. All that
Agile.
stuff.
It's just like a bee. It's like a hive of bees. You have your drones, you got your workers, you got your soldiers, you even had your queen. It's just
I'm on
like
board. I'm on board with that. I think that's as far as you needed to take us, and like, that's it. You try to throw in another layer of something that's a little bit outworldy, like
the baby,
a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Then that takes a little bit more effort for me, right? It's just like, you could have just stopped it at like, hey, this is my queen,
I should have got the
girl.
BMO drop. BMO from Adventure Time, when he's trying to say baby, he says the baby. That's what we should have got there. The baby.
The baby.
I mean, only if they would. It probably would have worked if they would have offered some background to his how do you put it? Just his whole, what went down to create him, and give us a little more on his backstory, and how he's able to do that.
I think that would have been dope. People's like, really, like, if they would have started off the movie with him getting experimented on, or what's his story? Why did he get experimented on, and how did they get him into that I guess that little crate, that metal crate or whatever he was in?
Yeah.
How did all that happen? And then end the movie, or that first movie, they should have ended it with him in that scene where the car crashed into that convoy. he gets out, and then you see him standing up on that hill, and there's Vegas in front of him. Then you go into part 2. That would have been dope. I would have watched that. I think it should have been a series, actually.
Yeah, that
right.
would have been nice.
Yeah.
And I'm just on the fact that I don't know why Zack Snyder always put scenes in there where people just don't know how to drive. This guy looked off like just like in what was that his Snyder cut.
The Snyder cut.
I mean, when Flash had to say
Iris
Iris. Yeah. The truck driver trying to get a burger or something like that. And then who else almost died? Who was the first other person that almost died in a car accident in that same movie? And I remember looking at who was it? I just thought about it earlier today too.
I don't remember another one unless you're talking about Bruce Wayne had to eject from the Batmobile toward the end of the film.
No, it's another one in that movie. I can't believe I missed it. Oh yeah, Cyborg, when his backstory and his mom drove out.
Okay.
It's like, and I remember watching the breakdown of that, and the dude was like, "How come nobody know how to drive in it?" And I was like, "Hey, I said the same thing. Like, I don't understand." And so when I watched this, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, somebody else don't know how to drive." Yo, like, this is a convoy. Who doesn't watch their road? But
it's a touchy subject for Zach. He wants to make sure that you guys keep your eyes on the road. That's what it's all about. Wear your seatbelts, people. Wear your seatbelts.
Right. And I don't blame the married couple. I mean,
it's Vegas. What stays in Vegas?
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting, Ted.
They just got married. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate.
You gotta live on the wild side, Ted. Come on now.
I'm there with you, man. I'm there. All right. What about Batista, Joe? How was his performance throughout the film? Were you on board with Dave being the lead, and how well did he do?
I thought his character was interesting. Of course, he was the alpha male, the lead.
Yeah.
So some of the better action scenes involved him, without a doubt. But again, we didn't really get to see a whole lot about, like people said, you just see him flipping burgers. Big old dude flipping burgers. It's like, how did we get here, man? Like, what happened? What's your story? We kind of saw that he came home. His wife was, a zombie. She had already turned. The daughter was locked in her room, kind of hiding from the mom. And then that was an emotional scene where he had to, get the knife and put it through her skull and put it down. And he was crying. The daughter was crying, but we just didn't know what happened. And then when they're like, well, I always thought you hated me because I killed mom. That's not why I hated you. That just kind of felt forced. That didn't even need to happen.
She had to think of something like, that's not why, Pop. Can I still get that money?
Yeah. I'm like, and then the stupid thing is, right, they're getting all this money for this guy, and all that. I'm just like, why, man? Y'all got so much money here. Y'all could just take that money and go. You don't even have to give it back to him. It's like, come on now.
You're right. You're right. There's actually a kind of a big plot point that a plot hole that I thought about that I'll get into towards the end of our discussion, but I won't talk about it just yet. Peoples, what about you, man? How did Batista do, just being the lead man, taking it all, the whole movie on his shoulders this time?
It's Batista. I know that it's hard. It was hard for me to take him seriously in his sad moments. I couldn't do it. Like I struggle with that one. Like, I understand, he had to take out his wife and and the daughters, that whole scene in his past. But trying to, I couldn't get on, I couldn't get on board with him crying. I was like, Batista, I couldn't do it. Then, they showed a little tear fall to the ground, hit his boot. I'm like, I can't, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But other than that,
yeah, but Batista did the ugly cry face, people. See, he had the ugly cry face.
He got the face down. I'm like, got the ugly cry face down, but I couldn't do it, Joe. But other than that, and like you said, he carried the movie like, what I'm saying? Like, other than that side of his character, he played the rest well, like, even, when he's trying to bond with his daughter, like, like Joe said, like, I thought you always hated me for this. I couldn't take him trying to be sensitive. I'm just like,
Ooh,
Nah,
all right.
like it was just hard for me. But him being funny and tough and badass, of course, he had that on lock.
There
Like
you go.
my man, that that moment in the casino he had. I slightly struggled, but I accepted it. Him being flipping zombies and doing his little Chris Redfield scene.
That's right. Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it.
He had some great action moments, especially towards the end when they have to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the movie, some of the best action scenes were towards the end, and he had to kind of do all the heavy lifting because there weren't a lot of people left. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I
Towards the
love
end of
where he
this,
lost it when his girlfriend or his interest died. I love when he went Hawk mode.
you
My
know
favorite
what?
part.
Yes, and I'm glad that there was some unexpected twists. That was
Mm-hmm.
definitely number one. And Zach, he's one of the writers. Also, Joby Harold and Shay Hatton. So those writers. This is Zach's story. So that part
Mm-hmm.
right there, I think Joe, you might not have gotten to that point yet, but
I was almost there. Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
almost there. So yeah, when he loses Maria. Oh man, that was shocking. And the
Yes, it
way it happened
was.
too.
Man.
Shocking. I loved it.
Right.
And this isn't a huge criticism, but usually like one of the staples of a zombie movie are like really memorable deaths. And you usually have like a handful, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
zombies killing somebody in like a special way and all that. This one you had a couple. That was one of them, definitely right there with that one. And
Mm-hmm.
she was one of my favorite characters, Maria. You know who was another one of my favorite characters? Chambers. Oh man, Chambers, who looked like she was straight out of Alien. She had the red bandana on. She was the
Yo, I was hoping you said. I knew you was gonna say that. I was hoping so.
Alien 2.
There you go, Joe. You definitely saw this part. So Chambers, listen, I play a lot of zombie video games. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
my wheelhouse. And one of my favorites, actually my favorite zombie game is a game called Left 4 Dead. The
I was just.
sequels, the sequel's even better. Left 4 Dead 2. So
Yes.
it's a very fast-paced game. The reason why I bring this up is because usually it's a run and gun type game. You're running, you're shooting, you're punching, you're kicking for half an hour, like
Mm-hmm.
nonstop, right? And so Chambers is in this great tension setup scene where they're having to crawl and weave and sneak through these corridors of these hibernating zombies. When she gets caught, she has to pull the run and gun type stuff. She's meleeing one guy, shooting the next guy, stabbing the third guy, kicking the
Mm-hmm.
fourth guy. These are all very efficient techniques you will learn in a zombie video game like Left 4 Dead or
Mm-hmm.
Left 4 Dead 2. So I was very happy to see her being very effective with these zombie kills. Very well choreographed. That's one of my favorite scenes is
Yes.
Chambers.
No, we lost Ted.
Oh, Ted.
I'm telling him,
In the
man.
middle of.
He was in
And he
mid
was-
Get
sentence.
away from you guys, man.
He was
Do
in a
something.
heated moment too.
He got frozen.
He
He
was
just-
feeling himself too, right?
He's just yelling at Chambers. She's lying on the ground, like, "Come on!" Like,
Yeah.
no, you come on.
The
I don't know why
internet.
she's not yelling at him to go help her out.
Yeah, the
I don't
internet
know.
caught Ted monologuing, man.
Say what?
The
You was
internet
talking
caught
to
you
yourself for a
monologuing.
while.
Yeah.
Oh man, how long was I gone?
About 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. Then you didn't miss much. Then I was just gonna say that what's his name, Cruz. Cruz is over there yelling from 20 feet away to
Mhm.
Chambers, "Come on, Chambers!" And I'm like, "No, you come on! Like, go over there and help her ass." There's like three of them right there. You could help her with three.
Yeah, I was hurt. I was hurt and angry at that moment
There you go.
because what I loved about it, like you said, choreographed, but I loved the fact that, even though she was set up, she came out prosperous and like she fought scratching and biting and just, and I was so proud of her when she bust through that window. like I was just so proud,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying. So, and the fact that what you just said, it made me so I was hurt. She had two zombies on her. That horde is 30 feet back.
Yeah.
The squad behind her, and they just looking at her like, she gonna make it? She gonna make it? She ain't gonna make. And when the horror finally gets on her, that's when they shoot one or two zombies. I'm like, I don't understand it.
Come
Maybe they were
on,
I
trying
was
to
folks.
hurt.
save
Come
bullets.
I
on.
Maybe
was
they're
hurt.
trying to save bullets.
It made well, okay, so the only reason why it's written this way is because they needed that explosion to happen because it looks great and it's a good death for her.
Somebody
But
else should have did that.
yeah, I
Not
wouldn't.
Chambers.
No, Chambers is legit. So the reason why they do it is because they needed that death scene, but it was like almost executed perfectly, with the exception of like you have to have her have a bite or something. Like you can see
Hmm.
if she busts out the window and she's already got a couple of scratches or a bite or two on her, like then we know like, oh, it doesn't matter what happens now.
Sacrifice, yeah.
Yeah, then it doesn't matter. And that's how I would have done that. But yeah, when it's like, come on, Jay, you all got guns, do something.
Yeah, like, and I also was upset because, you know, Cruz knew that the white dude or the guy set her up. He was like, "You was with her." The next, she bust through the window, right? And she had all that time to say, like, point him out. Only
Oh,
thing she said
Guzman.
was,
Guzman, my bad.
"Yeah, yeah." Only thing she said was, "Just go." Like,
Oh,
tell me
yeah.
who? Yeah, like I was. She should have said that guy set me up,
Kill that
and
dude. Yeah, kill that
yeah,
bastard. Yeah.
they let him just continue with him. Like I was so upset about that.
Joe, you love you some Chambers, right?
She's all right. You
Oh,
know,
come
You tread softly.
she's
You
all right.
tread softly, Joe.
she
She's all
was a
right.
badass.
She was all right. But I like
That
that
was
other
She was
girl. I
my
thought that
favorite
I
character.
like that other girl, the blonde one. What's her name?
Mm-mm.
The one
oh,
that
what was the blonde
the
one?
one that already knew.
Coyote.
Yeah,
Coyote.
I thought she was pretty dope, man.
She was, no lie.
I thought she was pretty dope
She
because
was.
she was
But not
smart.
better than Chambers.
Yeah, Chambers just had the look, but I like the other one because she already knew like this was in her first rodeo. She knew everything about these zombies and whatnot. So I was like, hey, she's pretty cool. I liked her. I dug her character.
I
Respect.
yeah, yeah,
Respect.
yeah. I dug her character too. Even the fact that she was very like nonchalant about the information. She was
Yeah,
only giving out information like when she
on an
saw fit.
ass need to know basis.
And it's like you could have mentioned some of these things, like, "Hey, by the way, you might see a zombie tiger. Nobody freak out or anything like
Yeah,
that." So
Right.
there was a lot of things she could have, a lot of information she could have divulged later on. Like we don't find out till later that they take people to like
Yeah.
a specific hotel, and sometimes they make it out. Like all that came a lot later, but yeah, it's all good. What did y'all think about the daughter, Kate? I don't know, man. If I'm Scott or Dave Batista and my daughter says I'm going with you, I'm like, no, you ain't. Handcuffs, right there. That's where you stay in. There ain't no way in hell you come with me on this trip.
I hated her with a passion. I really did. Like I was hoping she got bit.
Oh
I
man,
was hoping. I was hoping Valentine was gonna get her ass, dude.
Hey, even better, right? No lie. Like I was hoping she got X'd out, no lie. Like because she's the reason a lot of people died. You know.
okay, that's a good point, and I want to be on board with you, right? But I feel like because we have this not secret agent, we have this guy playing both sides. Oh, what the hell was his name?
Spy, you can say.
Yeah, is it Michael Cassidy who's playing this guy? No, not Michael. I forget his name.
I'm talking
Oh,
about the
Yeah, I
Martin.
know,
weasel.
right?
His name is Martin. So Garrett Dillahunt, who played Martin, he is covertly
Mm-hmm.
going up against this team. He's setting everybody up,
Yeah.
and we kind of have a feeling about him, but it's not 100% until he decides to make sure Chambers doesn't make it out alive. So screw that guy. But in my head, I'm like, they were almost destined to fail from the get-go because he's planning on killing them anyway, one way or another. So isn't it almost like if Kate doesn't sneak off to go find Gita, maybe this team would fail no matter what, because they would just get stuck, or he'd kill him, or something along those lines would happen, right?
I'm trying to. I know I'm not sure because when like I didn't see the I don't see what happened, or I must have missed it, but where she slid that skeleton hand on top of the lock so that that gate doesn't
She
lock.
could get out, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the point of her getting out. So
Yeah.
if she would have, like I guess stuck around, like even if she would have stuck around at the top, if she wouldn't have left and she would have hung out up top, she could have made sure that them getting locked down bottom by what was his name? Martin at something. I'm not gonna say she was. I put it like this: she's the reason her dad died.
Yeah.
She's the reason a couple of people, like the pilot woman, died. She's the reason why Coyote died. So which is Coyote liked her a lot. Loved the fact that she was well aware enough to, okay, we do need a sacrifice. She didn't tell nobody, like you said, and she used that guy that was, taking advantage of the women in the camp. Loved it, no lie.
Yeah.
Loved the fact she thought of that.
Played by Theo Rossi, who's from Sons of Anarchy, who was like one of my favorite characters. Like, oh man, why they got Theo like that? I thought Theo was gonna have a lot of fun in this movie, but he turned out to be a complete d-bag. So yeah, he got it. One of the worst for sure.
Well deserved.
Joe, what is your thoughts on Kate, played by Ella Purnell?
I don't remember who that character was, man.
Kate, Dave Bautista's daughter.
Oh yeah. I didn't really care for her. She just seemed too annoying, too emotional, man. Like she really served no purpose in there other than to get other people massacred. Other than that, it's like she really didn't help move the storyline forward.
Yeah,
she wasn't an avid contributor. She was
a setback.
Yeah, just something there, just in the background, just to be there, part of the crew. But she really served no purpose, So I didn't understand really what happened with this storyline. It started off interesting, kind of went flat for almost an hour and 2 minutes into the movie where nothing really happened. Then it started getting interesting again. You start getting little glimpses, and then it falls flat again. And then in the back, and then it's like a slow buildup, and then here comes the big finale, like y'all are talking about. I'm just like, this movie went like this, man, like a wave almost. It had ups and downs, and it just kind of lost me. Like the script, it had potential, but it just fizzled out, dude, like a flat soda.
It gets convoluted because the daughter Kate wants to go find this mom who
had the two kids.
She had the two kids. She needed money to get out of these camps, and so she decided, I'm going to go put my life in danger to go bust open a what's it called, casino, slot machine or something. Yeah, which slot machines only give out like coins, right? Coins that you have to like cash in anyway. So you gotta have to break something else. It's fine. We had a comment from somebody you might know, peoples. Eliud Velis. And Eliud says, "Hey peeps, no one gives an F what you think." So
hey.
Would you like to respond?
I like his humor.
For anybody who doesn't know, they've been best friends for 50 years. So
so he's people's Rob then.
He's the original Rob. That might be a great way to put it.
Yeah, you can say that.
Him and Rob are like twins.
All I can say to that is I know his feelings hurt, so he's a little salty. We can water that down. Yeah, his feelings was hurt. So when I told him, like, yeah, man, my man Ted, he was like, what? I didn't get no win, right? Blah, 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 blah. So I'll let him slide this one time because I know he in his feelings.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start wrapping this up because I can already see JC behind the scenes going like this.
we're pretty close. We're pretty close. Let's see here. Yeah, so the story gets a little convoluted with the mom Gita, and none of them make it out. Nobody makes it out except for the daughter Kate. And then in the end, Vegas gets nuked. Our hero Batista doesn't make it after the plane crash, but lo and behold, our man Vanderhoen was safe from the nuclear blast in the vault and somehow made it out with a couple of bags of money. You think everything's good. He's on his private jet. He's going who knows where.
New Mexico.
But he got a bite. And so that's where the movie ends. He goes to Mexico City, and they might be setting up a sequel. What do you think about the ending, Peoples?
Actually, I mean, I was upset that I only because they didn't show the bite when he got bit. It just made no sense. It just didn't make sense. Like, because I love the fact that he stood toe to toe with Zeus. Like, I thought that was dope. He got his ass whooped.
He
pretty
tried
bad. Yeah, but I respected it. But it caught me by surprise though, because you don't see the bite. You don't see him get bit at all. So it just threw me off.
You don't, and then I don't know if we only see bites by Zeus, and maybe it wasn't a bite by Zeus because he would have turned like that, right? Like a bite from Zeus, you get turned almost instantly.
Yeah.
You got minutes. And yet he had a bite that lasted
hours.
Mm-hmm. He was on a jet halfway to Mexico already. So
and he drove all the way to
Mexico. Yeah, so it must have been just one of your regular zombies that might have got him. Joe, I know you didn't get towards the end of the film, but how did Vanderhoen do in your mind? You like the character a lot?
I thought it was good. I mean, he was all right. He contributed more than the daughter, Batista. At least he helped move things a little bit more forward as far as the story arc goes. So yeah. I mean, the other supporting characters to me were interesting.
Yeah,
they were interesting. Had their own little quirks. They had a place in the story arc. So I dug it. I dug him, man. I thought he was good. So interesting to hear that there might be a sequel. The first this movie Army of the Dead obviously has some issues, but there's a lot of things that could have been cut out to make the movie a little bit shorter. I think it would have had more action in it, and it would have moved things on a little bit at a faster clip, because there was a lot of filler in this movie for me. But all in all, the cast of characters weren't bad. I've seen worse. I know we all have. As far as zombie and horror movies go, we've seen a lot worse. So I think they did an admirable job. Let's put it like that.
I'll agree with that. I liked Dieter, which I wish he was a little bit funnier though. He actually had a bunch of lines that fell flat for me. I'm like, nah, that didn't work. Oh, that one worked. That one didn't work. So I wish some of those lines for Dieter would have worked a little bit better. Guzman was cool. Maria, played by Ana de la Reguera. She's from Nacho Libre. So
I remember her. I like poopies.
Her for a long time.
I like poopies.
Do you like my pants? They look expensive. Yes, she is a nun from Nacho Libre. So she has a very special place in my heart. I actually met her. I met her at a screening for Nacho Libre in town. Very sweet, very funny. She stayed and answered a bunch of questions after the movie. So that was a screening back in 2006.
And she's beautiful too, man. She ain't hard to look at, dude.
She's wonderful, and she was really good in this movie. You need to finish, Joe, and see exactly what happens to her, because unfortunately she doesn't make it out alive either. So yeah, that's the end.
Her death was actually probably the only moment in that movie where I was like, damn, caught me by surprise. So yeah.
I would agree with that. I also agree with the booby traps in the vault room. That was pretty dope.
That was Indiana Jones-esque, dude.
It definitely was, and I'm just like, the casino, really? Can they do all of that? Like, I don't think they're allowed to do any of this stuff. But hey, whatever.
I know, right?
It's a zombie
Just
movie.
one more thing before we exit. I was highly, highly disappointed with something they said in the movie and it didn't happen. Where the rain brings them back to life for a couple, and I was upset I didn't see that. So hoping in the sequel, we get to see that. I was when she said that, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be bad." Didn't say it. I was pretty upset about that. So,
hey, listen, I agree with you, man, because it felt like a setup. Like I was figuring that was gonna be the last scene. They're running out of here, and they have to fight off these reanimated ones. That would have been pretty dope. All right, so
JC's asking to join.
Go ahead, let him in. There's a good point right here. What up, man? We're about to drop our ratings, so
go for it.
Glad you could join us.
I was telling him, I told him, JC, I said behind the scenes, JC's doing this.
About as long as that intro you guys were describing, right?
Exactly. Let's see here. So this is a part of the show where we drop our Geekcast rating. It's a 1 through 5. 5 being, let's see. Oh my God, what's that movie? I forget the zombie
versus
movie.
The World.
I was gonna say a zombie one. 30 days.
28 days later.
28 days later.
30 Days and Nights, a vampire movie, man.
There you go.
Being Shaun of the Dead. And
Shaun of the Dead's another good one.
Yeah, my personal favorite zombie movie.
And number 1 being
Super Mario Brothers, because you had to be a zombie to enjoy that shit.
Probably so.
Wow.
So 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, and we'll go ahead and go around and give our rating 1 through 5. Joe, let's start with you, man.
Oh,
if you want to give us a rating, I know you still got to finish it.
I'm gonna keep it real, dude. You know me, man. It's like I told you, this movie was up and down, lacked a lot of the story just fizzled out. Longest intro in cinematic movie history. I love that part. That was the whole movie right there for me. The rest of it just kind of fell flat. Got to give it a 2.5, dude. Can't even give it a 3.
Wow, right in the middle.
That's okay. 2.5, you said?
Yes, sir.
All right. No, that's actually higher than I thought you would go. People's, what about you, man?
Well, me, me personally, I give it a 3. Just because just the story. I'm big on the story. Just like in video games, if it don't deliver a good story, or even anime, if it doesn't deliver a good story, all in all, it's kind of just a flop. Action can only take you so far. It has to be a story that lands it. And just for the record, I actually love Super Mario Brothers, the movie. I'm offended about your comment.
Usually it's JC that gets offended every time we mention it.
I'm offended. Blasphemy.
Bro, Toad was like a gigantic, shrunk in the head looking. I don't know what that was.
Straight out of Beetlejuice, man.
That was Toad. They made Toad look like this.
I know, right? Hey, it's nostalgic for me. It's nostalgic for me.
Yoshi didn't do enough. We can go on and on about that.
That was the movie that taught me the lesson that video games don't necessarily translate well to movies. Personally,
There you go. Right. And finally, I'm actually going to give this film also a 3, mainly just because the action, the visuals were above par. Most of the action was really good. Comedy didn't always work in some places. The emotional beats, there were a handful of them. Like half of them worked, half of them didn't. So got to bring it all the way down to a 3 for me. That puts our Geekcast rating. I think you're tabulating, JC. Is that what you're doing?
2.83.
2.83.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. And it's also not the end of the Army of the Dead franchise, because Netflix has already greenlit a anime style spin-off to Army of the Dead entitled Lost Vegas. And I think there's more details out. I don't want to try and guess what they are. I think it might be a prequel if I understood it correctly, but we'll probably talk about that at a later time. But yeah, anime spinoff's already been greenlit. It's going to be on Netflix. And if there's anything you want to know for sure about Netflix, is they take their anime projects very seriously. If you want to see a good one, Castlevania season 4 just ended. It was a series ending season. So they ended on the 4th season, and it was near perfect
I love that show
from start to finish. I highly recommend it. They tied everything up beautifully, and the gore, the graphics, the choreography, the dialogue, everything is just top of the line, high quality. Highly recommend it. Oh yeah.
Oh, and I think congratulations is in order as well for JC, because if I remember correctly, the Colorado Avalanche have progressed to move forward in the playoffs.
Swept the Blues, man. Swept the Blues. I didn't see a sweep coming, but that's a discussion for another time. So
there you go. Well, congratulations to your team, sir.
Yeah.
Congrats,
with that being said, they got what about Thief of Knives or something like that?
For which one?
The Army of the Dead. They say that, what is that? The Night of Thieves or Thieves of Knives?
There was another. There's a couple of projects going on.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't had a chance to catch up on it because Marvel decided to drop a whole brand new trailer on us, and so I spend most of my day looking at Marvel stuff. But we'll probably talk about it probably next week. But Army of the Dead has at least 2 projects already greenlit, and Zack Snyder says there's going to be more. So Netflix is going all in on Zack Snyder.
Awesome. Proud of that guy.
There you go. Warner Brothers ain't going to do it, so Netflix has said, okay, we'll go ahead and take care of that.
Smart move.
Up next, we're going to talk about the Eternals trailer that just dropped today. It was a teaser. I've heard people online say it was a great trailer, and it looked beautiful, and it was amazing. I've heard people on the other side that say they told us nothing. There's no plot. Hey, you know who these people
are. You want a trailer to do?
I like the not knowing. I think that keeps it fresh. Yeah.
I agree. And so I'm going to fall right in the middle, and I'm going to ask everybody watching this to fall right in the middle. Yeah, be neutral about this. It is a teaser. You're not meant to get a whole lot. Marvel wants to bring everybody onto the same page. So what are they doing? They're just introducing us to these characters, or introducing us to this universe. And I don't mean the Marvel universe, but I mean the universe of the Eternals. They've been around this planet for a very long time, as we figured out in the trailer. If there's not much to take away from it, there are a few things that we were told in this trailer. So what does Marvel want us to know? They want us to know that the Eternals are not from here. They came to Earth, and they came to Earth at a very early time. We're talking tens of thousands of years in the past. Probably some of the earliest civilizations is when they actually come to Earth, and you can see them teaching them how to farm. They're probably giving them, helping them learn different types of technology, or building tools, or just making things more efficient, having a better way of life. And we see time jump from different periods. We see them in some modern times. We see them in some very distant past times. And then there are some that almost seem like sort of in the middle, maybe a few thousand years BC or something like that, where they're dealing with other civilizations. And we learn right off the bat that, let's see here, Richard Madden's character, known as Icarus, and Gemma Chan, who is playing Cersei, the love between them has lasted thousands of years on this planet, and they show us that they're embracing at different time periods, wearing different sets of clothing. And we didn't see a whole lot of Kit Harington. He's going to come later into the story, and he's actually going to be supposed to be involved in a love triangle with both Richard Madden's character as well as Gemma Chan. We don't quite know yet who the antagonist is of the story, and that's okay. I think that can come at a later time. It might be Celestials. They normally are a part of the Eternals stories. We do see a couple of creatures in really quick flash sequences that they're kind of going up against. So it makes you wonder who exactly they're going to be going up against, or if it might be something internalized. Maybe one of them goes rogue for some reason. That happens all the time in these type of movies, where you have a team and there's always one that kind of thinks they know better, or things should be different. I mean, it's like Wonder Woman and the god Ares, going up against the rest of the gods, that type of thing. I could easily see that being a twist that Marvel lays upon us.
Well, it was part of the original comic books. They had the Eternals were in a higher number than they are right now, and it was kind of for the same reason that you had stated. There was another faction of the Eternals that didn't agree with of the helping of humanity and kind of wanted to make things exclusive for themselves. They had like a civil war breakout, and basically they winded up decimating their populations. And when they split up, they created a sinister part to the Eternals. I believe they were called the Deviants. So
Deviants,
you have your good,
those are the creatures,
and you have your bad. So the Eternals are on the side of good to help humanity. The Deviants are on the opposite end of that spectrum. And then somewhere in there you have Celestials, and you have the Eternals. And if I remember how this whole storyline broke out, it was either the other faction of the Eternals who actually went and founded a planet that we know all too well called Titan. And Titan is, we know, the homeworld of one Thanos, because Thanos, I remember reading this vaguely way back when, he is the offspring of one of the Eternals. Yeah. So that's why it was so hard to kill him, So
right.
That's just me trying to remember stuff from reading way back when I was a kid and teen, So kind of just to fill in the gaps a little.
I got you, man. Before I go around and ask you guys thoughts about the trailer, I'll just kind of read this out. So we already know that Richard Madden is playing Icarus. He is all powerful, is what Marvel's saying. Gemma Chan is playing the humankind-loving Cersei. Kumail Nanjiani is the cosmic-powered Kingo. He's also a Bollywood performer in the modern timeline, so we'll see that. I'm sure it play out. Lauren Ridloff is the super fast Makari. Brian Tyree Henry is the intelligent inventor Fastos. He can actually create things with his mind. Salma Hayek is the wise and spiritual leader Ajak. Leah McHugh is the, was that for me or Salma? I'm just
Salma.
Okay.
That's what sold me on the movie. Salma Hayek said, I'm good.
Leah McHugh is the eternally young old soul sprite. Don Lee is the powerful Gilgamesh. And Barry Keoghan is the loner Druid. And last but not least, Angelina Jolie is the fierce warrior Thena. And
that's my baby.
Kit Harington, who's not an Eternal, but he'll come along later on, plays Dane Whitman, who will be a love interest for Gemma Chan's character, Cersei. So let's go around. GC, I know we don't get a whole lot, but we did get some Avengers references in this trailer. What are your thoughts on the teaser?
I think this entire teaser, for the most part, is a flashback sequence in the actual movie.
I can see that, yeah.
They kind of tease it that they've been around for thousands of years. Almost like when the beginning of the trailer, you couldn't even tell it's an MCU movie. They show up, there's cavemen. I'm like, oh, this is another Stargate? What is going on here? But, they kind of tease that they helped humans along the way. Maybe they were there in major parts of history, just kind of lurking in the background. You mentioned they helped humans build and cultivate plants. Maybe they were there in Mesopotamia, which is like the earliest known human settlement. So
right.
As someone who majored in history in college, I'm actually pretty interested to see how they spin history into this. What sort of major events were they kind of hiding in the shadows? As far as why they decide to come out, we know from the very end that it's post-Endgame. So I wonder if these people are immortal, if they were somehow impacted by the events of Infinity War and Endgame, whether the aforementioned deviants that Joe mentioned have something to do with why some of them or one of them, or who knows how many possibly were snapped out of existence to come back 5 years later. So
probably half. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So be interesting to see, since they're immortal, if they were affected by that, and maybe that has something to do with it.
I could see that. especially because they're like, we never interfere, and then half of them are gone one day. It's like, we should probably start interfering a little bit more. So, yeah, I could see that.
One of our kids did this, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Peoples, what about you, man? Did you get a chance to check out the teaser trailer for Eternals?
I haven't. I usually stay away from teaser trailers because I mean,
I can see
I
that.
always just, I always just from what I've watched in time, just like, you know what? It don't really give me too much to go off of. And sometimes the teaser trailer gives you like nitpicks of movies that's come out already, pretty much kind of what do they call it? A clickbait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, just no more teaser trailers for me. So I stay away from those until I see the words official trailer. Then I tune in. But I am curious to see how, which, JC made a good point. That is something that sparked my interest about the Infinity Stones and the snapback. So, that's highly interesting to see if they do somewhat throw that in there, if they don't base it off mainly past event, you know what I'm saying, to lead up to something future wise or present wise. Hopefully it's not something that's they try to just give us a whole movie on past events before everything, Avengers and all, Captain Marvel and all that. So that sounds a little boring to me, honestly. But I mean, I'm curious to see if they hint at Thanos, because I know he was born like this, just this ugly figure that they was like, oh my goodness, like this ain't the right, you know what I'm saying? So they kind of just shift him to the backside where he become this just evil fiend, you know what I'm saying? So I wonder how they're gonna tie his character into this movie if they do, since I think it was Joe that said like they created Titan. Or something like that. So I'm curious how to see how if they mention Thanos and how they go about the whole Thanos situation, if they stir him to want to do this, other than the Avengers now, if they did something to actually make him be like, you know what, I want to snap them out of here too, because
they could be a catalyst for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm
if they
curious how
abandoned
they
him somewhere, they abandoned him when Titan was dying and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Joe, what about you, sir? What are your thoughts on the teaser trailer?
I like the teaser trailer. I was also kind of looking at the similarities between the ship that was shown in the trailer and how it kind of resembles Sanctuary 2 and the triangular shape that it's in Thanos' ship. And then also the same symmetrical design is also used in Ronan the Accuser's ship, the Dark Aster. They kind of have that kind of a low profile, kind of a triangular shape. So I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's something that's done purposefully. And another thing too is I remember like I was telling you about Thanos and Titan and all that. I believe one of the Eternals was the father of the Mad Titan himself. I believe the Eternal that I'm talking about is Kronos, from what I remember. Like I said, I haven't read these comic books in years, dude. So I'm kind of going off of memory. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of bring all that full circle. And like JC had alluded to as well, they probably are getting involved now because Thanos snapped half of the population out of existence, and that more than likely affected them as well. So they're like, we don't usually get involved, but now we're gonna have to, because there's not many of us left anymore.
You pushed us too far.
Yeah, they pushed them too far, and I'm sure that when they wished them back, they came back. But of course, that was probably a big wake up call to them. And not only that, but maybe this movie is setting things up for a bigger threat. Because if they're coming in and they're like, we never get involved, and now we have to get involved, maybe I'm crossing my fingers. We'll see a little introduction of maybe Galactus. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of the Silver Surfer mentioned somewhere. That would be really interesting because now you have already the introduction, or where fans have been introduced to Celestials. Now they're going to be introduced to the Eternals, and now the next shoe to drop would be introducing them to other beings who are also very powerful. The Eater of Worlds, which is Galactus. So I'd like to see that kind of set up, something, not even that we're going to see it right now, but maybe a mere mention or of something happening. I think JC would probably welcome that as well, because if we see Silver Surfer and Galactus, maybe we'll get a mention to the mutant gene, because that's another thing that this whole thing can set up. And I don't believe that the fans are familiar with the story from the Eternals, is that they kind of mention in the comic book, from what I remember, the experiments and stuff that they were doing with some of these other beings, that they were awakening powers or things that they had in them. And that was like an X gene, so maybe this could be the mention or the start of introducing JC's favorite, the mutants, and the big one known as Wolverine.
One time.
Baby steps, JC, but hey, it's getting close. It's getting close.
And I'm going to do the exact opposite. I am not going to wait for mutants anymore. I'm not going to wait for Wolverine. I'm not going to wait for Galactus. I feel like this is all years ahead. And so I'm going to stop waiting for it to happen, because I'm just going to drive myself insane, because I'm sure they have a plan. I'm sure they had a plan before taking over the Fox properties, and that plan was probably a few years
I'll settle
already
for
into the future.
A picture in the background that shows something that looks like the Silver Surfer or Galactus. That would just excite me to no end.
I mean, look,
I think they would go that far before they bring the mutants in, but I don't think we're going to get in touch with the mutants and all that until they do the Fantastic Four movie, which is down the line, obviously. But you can start bringing in Surfer, Galactus, all those other villains that you now have the rights to, potentially.
Yeah, things are about to get weird. I think you could say, JC.
It's
about to get weird. Not to get weird. So,
if there's anything that I could, claim or not claim, if there's anything that we can say without a doubt about the Marvel Studios executives, especially Kevin Feige, they do things that make sense. They're not going to take too many risks with the stories, right? They don't want to do that.
No.
They don't want to have a zombie baby when we already have
why are you ruining stuff for JC?
And stuff
why
like
are you
that.
ruining stuff for JC?
It's like them having vampire babies on Twilight. So it's like, what the hell,
Hey,
there you go.
That Renesmee baby on that, Twilight Breaking Dawn 2. It's the stuff of nightmares, bro. I don't know. Why didn't they just use a real baby?
Because this whole CG that she's aging quicker.
It just boggled my mind. I mean, just for some scenes, you could have just.
If that's your complaint about Twilight, you're picking the wrong thing.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, dude.
Right.
I was forced to watch these because my wife and daughter watch them. But
we believe
crazy,
you, bro.
dude.
Don't worry about it.
No, we believe it.
I hate
married men relationship. You all got to do it to try and get some.
I hate that movie franchise with a passion, bro. I hate it.
You. Hey. Yeah,
burn it with
know
fire.
The daughter's name when you were right away.
Burn it with fire, dude. Burn it with fire.
My whole point was that.
Go ahead.
Was that Marvel they're not going to take huge risks with the stories, right? They're going to do things that make sense. So I think that they'll have a story that's sort of confined to the Eternals and things within that realm. They'll leave stuff like mutants alone. If anything, I don't think we get any major references to Galactus. We might see references to other Celestials. There might even be a Celestial that they're going up against at some point in the movie. But I could easily see an end credit scene, because at the end of Avengers, we got our end credit scene with Thanos, and we didn't even go up against Thanos until like 4 years, or not even 4 years, like 8-9 years later, right? That's when we finally go up against Thanos. So
I saw Stan Lee talking with the Watchers, which I thought was cool.
There you go. That's pretty cool too. But I could easily see an end credit scene where you get a glimpse of Galactus or a glimpse of a planet being devoured, and that's not a teaser for the next movie, but that's a teaser for what's 3-4 years down the line, and we might finally get heroes taking down Galactus or dealing with him at a later time.
Maybe we'll get a mention of it in the next Captain Marvel movie or something,
Have we already seen the Celestials in MCU? I'm trying to remember who the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right?
Yeah. That we saw them.
Okay, yeah. So we have seen
one. I think one because
No,
we saw a
It was
Celestial
two.
using a Power Stone.
Yeah, you saw the
To
reference of them
smash
with the power Infinity Stone itself on that staff, and as soon as that Celestial brought it down on the planet, it just decimated the whole planet.
They look like Power Ranger villains, like
yeah, pretty much.
They're big.
I was trying to remember who those people were in the second one that they steal from at the very beginning. I try to remember who it was, but they kind of have an end credit scene at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I can't remember who they were.
But who was Star-Lord's pops? What was he again?
Ego. He was a planet. He's a planet.
Oh, he was just a planet. Okay.
The whole planet. Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was a guy just going around getting laid. That's basically what he was.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Kurt Russell, perfect cast for that. So.
But it's honestly, for me, like, I mean, it's going to be very, very hard to top what's been done already because Thanos made the perfect villain. The whole setup was perfect. It's going to be tough to top that.
I mentioned this. Ryan invited me on Elmsey Movie Talk. We did a trailer reaction to Eternals and talked about it for briefly. There's a lot of pressure on this film. You have an Oscar-winning director. You have a movie that not a lot of people know about these characters, much like Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's a lot of pressure on Volume 1 to get people drawn in. And post Endgame, this is kind of the first movie of the next phase. And we're not going to say Spider-Man Far From Home it was still technically phase 3 to close that out. This is really the first movie of phase 4 because Black Widow is more or less taking place pre-Endgame or pre-Infinity War, if you will.
Shang-Chi's in September, though.
Yeah. Okay, I don't. God, the release schedule's so crazy. I can't recall.
We have Black Widow, then Shang-Chi, then Eternals in November,
and then by November we hope people are gonna be able to go into theaters, and there's not gonna be any premiere access on Disney Plus in the future. So,
Joe's already made me promise to have a private screening, so
he's gonna pay for the end credit scene this time. JC, he is.
Disney's gonna charge an arm and a leg for that, so I don't blame you if you don't get the money for that. It's fine. So, there's a lot of pressure on this film, introducing whole new characters. Pretty much the first few movies of this phase to really bump it up and get it going.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi, Eternals are kind of the undercard for the main event at Christmas for Spider-Man. So it's really how you got to build it up.
Yeah, me and JC are waiting for Spider-Man, that new Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Yeah, and Venom 2.
Yeah, well, bro, better pump the brakes there. Pump the brakes,
Venom
JC.
2, I'm not excited about. I can't say I'm excited.
My
about
man,
it.
Peoples is my man.
Looks rough.
My man.
It just, I can't, bro. Like, they.
Keep it real.
Venom is a dark
Peoples.
character. That movie's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be dark. You know, like, give me some. When I say dark, I meant when DC was being dark instead of trying to convert to throwing some human or like keep it dark. Like, I want the Dark Knight dark. You know, like that's how Venom should be. Like none of this Venom making you breakfast and saying hello to the store clerk. Like, unacceptable.
People, were you watching my last review that we did with the trailer and all that?
You sound like Joe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
I like him, Ted. We're gonna have Peoples on more often.
Well, I know you're a horror movie guy, right?
Yes. Okay.
We'll definitely have to talk when the Forever Purge comes out because that is one I am very much looking forward to. I don't watch a whole lot of horror films or franchises, but the Purge and the Saw films are the ones that I'm definitely into. And so,
hey, speaking of, I actually bought me and my lady. I bought me and my lady tickets today to go see The Quiet Place 2 Friday.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, I'm gonna see that on Thursday. Actually,
I'm excited for that. I'm really excited. I love the first one. The first one is like innovative as hell.
Yes, I loved it. So
looking forward to it, man. Maybe we can have him back when we review it, Ted.
Yeah, I love that.
When did you check it out? We'll talk about it next week, dude.
Cool, awesome.
Let's see. So that's probably it for the Eternals. I think we talked that one as much as we possibly can. If you haven't seen the trailer, head on over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/countdown to the Geekcast and scroll down, check out the trailer. Also check out the poster. And the only thing we didn't talk about was the line that was dropped in the teaser trailer that said Iron Man and Captain Rogers are gone, not dead, but gone. And who could possibly lead the Avengers team now? And Richard Madden's character says, "Hey, maybe I could." And they all like have a nice chuckle about it. But it is interesting that they didn't say dead; they did say gone, which still is weird that they're teasing that Steve Rogers isn't dead.
Well, this is the thing that they're not. They're dead in our universe
timeline.
Yeah, in this timeline here.
They're not. They're not though.
They're not in this
Stark
Earth.
is.
In this Earth, they're not here.
Stark is, but we know that Steve
Spoiler alert.
Rogers has not been confirmed to be dead. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they keep saying like, "Oh, he's on the moon." What the hell does that mean? And now in this one, they also claim that Captain Rogers. It's great that they already know that he's not Captain America. We already have a Captain America. So they call him Captain Rogers. He is also gone, but not dead. So it is interesting. It's not to say that there's this big twist coming, but it is interesting that Marvel keeps teasing with the current status of Steve Rogers. And they don't have to. You don't have to say anything, but they continue to do it.
You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Something that say, go ahead, Joe.
No, I said Ted setting himself up for disappointment. We've been down this road before, Ted.
You think Marvel's doing this?
Going down the old road.
You think Marvel's doing this by accident? No, they're doing this on purpose.
Doing it on purpose.
Just to get people like you to look into vocabulary.
They want to troll you, man. They're trolling you, dude.
That clickbait.
You're over here like mutants are on the way. No, I'm not doing that.
Hey, I made one bold prediction. I stand by it. It was worth a shot.
So I was talking about Joe actually, but
Joe.
Hey, but I did read something about that. Well, I forget his real name, but dude that play Steven Rogers, that he was coming back. That he possibly could be coming back to play.
That is
Chris Evans. There you go.
Yeah, that is.
I read something on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not wrong. That is the rumor that we heard. We did talk about it. I think we all had different theories on it. My theory was you don't bring Steve Rogers back, but you bring someone to imitate Steve Rogers, like they're trying to be.
Well, we already got that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We got the Hill Country Fair version of Captain America.
Hey, truth be told,
a little bit different. I think you have someone trying to steal the identity of Steve Rogers, and that would be a great plot for a future movie or series. It doesn't have to be a movie. It could definitely be a series, but we'll see. And I think that's why you would bring Chris Evans back. You already had the perfect ending for him, as well as Tony Stark, aka Robert Downey Jr. So you don't waste that perfect ending by bringing back those same characters.
Unless he's part of the What If series, we'll see.
Could be, but they probably shouldn't have made as big of a deal about it if it was just that.
Now I need to get this clarified, just because it's killing me internally. Like when I say, like I have to have confirmation. Like, which none of us gonna know, because nothing's been confirmed. But they really starting to get under my DNA, because they won't give me something. I need Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in No Way Home. If they don't give me this, they will lose a fan.
Man, I think it's all but confirmed. There are so many reports, there are so many sightings, there are so many rumors that if they aren't in it, it'll be the biggest mishandling of information ever. Right, JC?
Yeah,
pretty much. And I think they're just not. I don't think anyone that's involved with the project is going to officially confirm their involvement, just because they're trying to keep some surprises in store.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason. So
except Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna tell everybody.
No, he took the Tom Holland approach. He sold out on the Tom Holland approach to how to do that. So or maybe it wasn't his contract. He just forgot that part. Who knows?
He said he didn't care. He said, I don't care. I'm already in it. They can't erase me. I'm in it.
The check's already cashed.
I'm in the movie. What you gonna do, Disney? I'm in the movie.
Yeah. So I mean, just take it with a grain of salt. We'll see.
Doc Ock, Thug Life. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know you're not interested in Venom 2, but I could very easily see Into the Spider-Verse 2 teaser coming at the very end of Venom 2, just like Spider-Verse 1 was teased at the end of the first Venom movie, post-credits. So there's a lot of the Spider-Verse multiverse thing going around nowadays. And so we'll be interested to see how they...
And I know it's supposed to start, and I know all of it's supposed to start with, you know, Doctor Strange multi or Madness multi or something like whatever it is. But it's just like Toby is forever my Spider-Man. I don't know about y'all, but that is my Peter Parker right there. You know what I'm saying? And like the picture they show of him just looking like he just been through things with the scruff and the that badass jacket he has. I don't know if y'all seen that photo. Where he's just looking off in the distance, like that's how he need to look. And if they do this whole, you know, loop up, because that would show that he was the very first Spider-Man, which he was, and that he just been down a dark road where, you know, life just had him just coming at him.
Yeah.
And I think that would be so awesome if he came with a lot of wisdom and all this just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's got some scars because of life. He's got some scars on him because of life and battles.
Yeah.
Yes. I would, man, I need that. You know, I need that.
He's lived. Let's put it like that. He's lived. He's seen some things, people. He's seen some things.
He's lost some people dear to him. Like he's been down that road to where it gets dark for him, you know, and you know, and then he made a comeback, but he has scars, like you said.
Yeah. You're right about that. Let's get into our last topic of the day, and it's all about DC, and then we're going to do a rapid fire on the way out. But DC isn't slowing down as far as the animated projects go. They've already greenlit a brand new Batman animated series, not done in the same vein as the original animated series, but they're bringing back a lot of the same producers. Nothing yet on like the entire cast list, but it's going to be on HBO Max. Not only did they greenlit an animated series, they also greenlit a Superman series that they're calling My Adventures with Superman. All we got so far is one picture for the series, and it kind of looks like the animation is a little bit more youthful than we're used to. That's all I'll say about that. But they did approve 2 seasons, I think, of My Adventures with Superman. So those 2 projects are already on the way. And let's see, if that wasn't enough for you, then this should also do the trick. They've also approved an Injustice animated movie. It's in development. It'll probably take maybe a year. Let's say a year or less. These animated movies, they're churning out pretty quick. So they've probably been working on this for quite some time. But if you played Injustice, either the first one or the sequel, and you love that story, or you've read the comic, you're getting a full-blown animated film. And if it's anything like Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, expect it to be gory, a lot of violence, well written, a lot of twists. Injustice is a great storyline, and I can't wait for it. JC, I'll ask you first. If you had your pick of one of those 3 that you're most excited for, is it the Batman series, the Injustice movie, or the Superman series? What would you be most excited for?
The Injustice one, I think that one has definitely a deep story. Another Realm, of course, had a lot to do with that. The second one specifically had a dark Superman story to it.
Yes.
And Supergirl's practically broke in the second one too, by the way. I think though, for my kids, My Adventures with Superman, it sounds like it's more of a kids animated flick. I don't know if it's Jimmy Olsen talking about his adventures or what, but you mentioned it's youthful animation. I think that's going to be a little more kid friendly sort of story like that to get kids more to that superhero.
It does. It kind of has a little more of an anime feel to it, almost like a Pokemon animation, and that's just from one photo. So I can't really say for sure that's what it's going to be, but it's leaning a little bit more that way as opposed to the current animation style, which is more sort of the Archer type look. So yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Peoples, I'll ask you next, man. If you had your choice out of those 3 DC projects, what are you most excited for?
I'll definitely go with Injustice as well. The Superman and Batman series. I'm sorry, but like I said, I'm nostalgic. They can't get better than what was. Like perfect. Like how they were, especially Batman. It was just awesome, man. Like it was just, it was just one of those things where if you try to remake something, you're going to mess it up. And
Sure.
Justice, like this is something a lot of people have been waiting on, I feel, since the game. And like I've just been hurting to see that dark Superman.
Yeah.
Like I read the comic, and played the game. Wasn't a fan of Justice 2. The first one was awesome, but just to finally see that dark Superman, him broken after his loss, like, I'm getting excited thinking about it. Like it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for that.
I agree, man. I agree. And Joe, what about you, sir? Your pick out of those 3 projects?
Probably like JC said, Injustice. That one always has a very intriguing storyline to me. Even if you look at the video games, the Injustice video games storylines get chef's kiss, dude. It's like they're just amazing. Movies, not so much, but animated stories and what they do as far as their TV series. And now we're gonna actually maybe get something for Injustice. I mean, come on, dude. I'm all over that. Superman as well is intriguing, depending on what they can do with it. I kind of like the direction that they've kind of taken, or the stance they've taken. So I'm intrigued, dude. I'm interested. I'm for it. I think DC does a great job when it comes to especially their animated films. So this just
they don't fall flat, man.
Not at all.
No.
They deliver almost every single time.
There you go. And then lastly, it's a tough choice. I want to say Injustice because I know it's such a compelling story and it expands on what the majority of fans know about these characters. I'll go with Injustice. You know why? Because I'm sick of fans saying they always want their Batman to be one way, they always want their Superman to be one way, and we need the fan base to get exposed to different variations of these characters. I still have disagreements where I'm correcting people on the Batman arc in Batman v Superman. If you don't understand it, you don't understand it. But it's a very strong arc, and I won't even get into it. I'll go with Injustice. I'll say that's the one that I'm leaning more towards. But the Batman animated series one is almost just as intriguing. Why? Because it's not only being produced by J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves was directing the brand new Batman film featuring Robert Pattinson, but they're also bringing back Bruce Timm, who did the original animated series. So you get a guy like Bruce Timm and J.J., who he has a lot of ideas, right? And then Matt Reeves, who apparently is going to know Batman better than anybody. Put those guys in a room, make them write some stories. I think they can come out with something really strong. So, fun fact, I'm actually rewatching the original animated series with my daughter, who's going to be 2 next month. She loves the hell out of it. So she's just like, Batman?
Respect.
Batman? Yes. So I didn't have to force her to do it. She's just like, let's watch that. And so we're rewatching the entire animated series, and I'm loving every minute of it. All right, before we get out of here, let's do a real quick rapid fire. I'll throw out some stories to you, gentlemen. Adult Swim will create a short series entitled The Vindicators. If that name sounds familiar for you, it should. It's a spinoff about the heroic team from the Rick and Morty series. So that's going to be pretty damn exciting because the Vindicators episode is freaking hilarious. Batgirl movie news update. The Bad Boys for Life directors are actually taking on the Batgirl project. It will be a film that's going to go straight to HBO Max or whatever the streaming service will be called in the future now that they're merging with Discovery. But yeah, Batgirl is back on the table. It looks like they're moving forward with it. I don't know who I would cast as Barbara Gordon, but if you have a great idea, we want to hear about it. So drop an actress in the comments, and let's see your pick. Who's your pick for Barbara Gordon? The Flash film is in full production mode. We've been getting pictures from behind the scenes from both Andy Muschietti as well as Barbara Muschietti. You can check those out on our Facebook page by scrolling down the timeline. A few of you guys are excited about this. Hocus Pocus 2 is officially happening. It's coming out next Halloween. 2022. They're bringing everybody back for this one, or at least the Sanderson sisters. I don't know about the rest of the cast, but your favorite witches are going to be back, so that's pretty exciting for a lot of fans out there. And then lastly, Henry Cavill still has not been announced to be doing any future Superman films, but we did get a confirmation he will be the lead in the newly rebooted Highlander series from director Chad Stahelski. So
there can only be one, Ted.
So Highlander is back, and Henry Cavill will be donning the kilt and sword. So
I dig it, man.
JC, Joe, you excited about a Highlander reboot?
Of course, dude. I was always into Highlander. I watched all the movies. I even watched the series, Highlander the series. You know,
the
back in the
series
day.
classic.
Oh, see, people's knows, man. And it was good. I liked it. You know, I liked it. I enjoyed it. You know, so now that you have Cavill, you know, coming in and gonna be picking up the mantle as a new Highlander, I dig it, dude. I'm with it. You know, it's exciting to me. And also I'm excited to see season 2 of The Witcher. See what happens with that.
Love me some Witcher, man. JC, what about you? You subscribe to Highlander?
Only if they still use Queen for the soundtrack, because Princess of the Universe is like the best Highlander song ever, hands down. But Cavill, he could do it. I have no problem with the casting. Be interested to see. The dude's a Superman. Now he's going to be immortal. You know, there can be only one, right? So let's see how this plays out. This will be pretty cool to see. Yeah.
And people just sound like you're a big Highlander fan.
I am. I used to watch this anime. I used to watch the series when I was younger, every Saturday, just because I know that'll come on. I think it'd either before or after the Three Stooges on a Saturday. So, that was a Saturday night was just set. We was already ready for Highlander, then Three Stooges, then Tales of the Crypt.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Bro. That's a great Saturday night, bro.
and then the movies as well. Like, come on, nobody did it better than Lord Raiden. You know what I'm saying? So it was, it was awesome, bro. So I mean, he does. I haven't gotten to The Witcher yet. I only watched an episode, maybe two, because I'm watching so many things. I like to finish something before I start another. And then
I got you.
So that's gonna be my next project as well. It's The Witcher. Also, I mean, I know I've heard him in an interview say where they asked him if he was done with Superman, and he was like, I put it like this: I keep my cape in my closet. So hopefully, future, we still get some Henry Cavill Superman.
It's not done.
I think he can come back if the storyline is intriguing to him. I believe he wants, as an actor, he wants to take the character somewhere else. So if they come back with an intriguing storyline, he might pick up the mantle again.
I don't think he would do it unless they allow Zack Snyder to do it, because he stated that he was highly excited for Zack, and he was proud to be, he had a lot of fun and proud to be. Is that Bizarro?
No, that's Clark facing a horde of zombies, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was Bizarro. I often say I like that, but but yeah, like, he was highly excited and happy to work with Zack. Aside from Josh Whedon, a lot of people are disappointed working with that guy. Yeah. So I think hopefully if they allow Zack to do it, he'll definitely be back with the black suit.
Gotcha. It's hard to gauge Cavill. It really is. So he's said a lot of different things over the years, and it makes you wonder which is he being genuine about and which was he just saying in the moment because he had to play good, be a good Clark Kent, be a good Kal-El for the studio and all that. I think he would do it if Zack wasn't involved, because he knows that's probably less likely for Zack to be involved with WB going forward.
Exactly.
But I do think he would do it again. Now, the more projects they keep announcing with him in it makes me feel like we're not getting that announcement anytime soon.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he can't fit a sequel or a future project with wearing the tights and the cape, somewhere in there. I keep hearing chatter. I keep hearing things like soon, or I keep hearing things like things are changing, the tide's changing. There's sometimes there's days where there's more hope than there was in the previous day, and so possibly we could see him doing another movie in the near future. I think if we do get an announcement, they would save that big of an announcement for DC Fandom, which is now happening in October this year. So if there's anything big that's going to get announced, DC Fandom, October, they saved for that day, and the fans can go crazy because I think everybody wants Henry back as Superman eventually.
But I mean, I'm not a fan of Robert Pattinson. Not a fan of his Batman. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I got you.
I'll probably, it's gonna take me a while before. Only reason I would watch it is because the fan inside of me.
There you go.
I wouldn't go watch it just to be hey, it's Robert Pattinson. No.
Is this the Twilight discussion thing again?
No, I'll be honest with you, people.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, people.
I was Batman like you. Gleamer in the sun, but
I was like you, people. I was like, when I saw the trailer, even before the trailer came out, when I was hearing the chatter about, Robert Pattinson's going to be the new Batman. We knew him as Sparkles, from Twilight. I was like, how is this going to work, man? Like, I don't see him in that role. But after watching the trailer and giving it a legit shot, I got to say, I thought he did a great job, of portraying Batman, and hearing more and more about the film and what they're doing with it and what Earth they're actually setting this Batman film in. I'm excited about it. I'm going to give it a shot and go in with an open mind and just watch it before I pass judgment on the dude for being Sparkles,
But I just never was a fan of it. But and I don't know if y'all heard this, but the only reason I'm going to watch it now, 100% excited if they do it, is because supposedly Tom Welling is wanting to play Superman in his movie. And that made my day. Like when I read that, I was like, I love universe. I love that. I love Smallville, and him and actually Michael Rosenbaum, Tom Welling, they created. Don't know when it comes out, but they've animated Smallville, the series. They turned into the anime, so they supposed to be bringing out an anime Smallville.
They have an idea too. Yeah, so let's hope
that would be dope. We actually had a couple of comments when this news broke out about Henry, so I'll go ahead and read those. Brandon Waldman says, how about stop rebooting movies? Plenty of good books out there in the sci-fi and fantasy genre to make into movies. Top fan Alex says, interesting. Let's see. Although not my first choice for the Man of Steel, but let's see. In my humble personal opinion, Christopher Lambert killed it in all the movies. I'm sure everybody else agrees here. And also top fan Hanzaito McLeod says, maybe Christopher Lambert might do a cameo.
Kind of has to, right?
Like Sean Connery's character, he could be his master. He says, I know Lambert is 64 now, but he still looks good. So, hey, that's always a possibility.
Reboot it, reuse it, reshoot it, and redo it if you want to make it. We'd not learn our lesson from season 1 of Animated when it came back,
He should have played Lord Raiden in a new Mortal Kombat. But hey,
that'd have been wild.
That's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, definitely.
You need your Superman fix, though. Superman and Lois is getting really good.
I'm not interested.
This past episode
Try it out, man. Try it out.
Trust me. Have you watched any of it yet?
I haven't. Like, I don't like the guy who played Superman.
This past episode really is he's towing the line, teaching his son the emotions he really has to go through, because there was almost a point where he snapped. So it's definitely an emotional kind of story, but just enough action, and it's taking some interesting twists, and it's confusing as hell where they're going with this. It's hard to predict, but it's very, very interesting. So
the story is compelling. I like seeing Superman in a new vein, and new tension, new scenarios, and all that. So him having two sons, it puts a character in a different scope in a live action than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Before we end the show, I'm actually going to give a shout out to Celebrity Fan Fest. The last time they had a major indoor convention, we were all there in a booth, greeting fans, playing.
Hernandez was with us.
Playing Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
We had a blast. Yeah, we were doing live live shows from inside the convention center, covering the WWE panels, covering Brandon Routh's panels. We did some interviews with different celebrities. Ernie Hudson of the Ghostbusters. We just had a blast. Well, Celebrity Fan Fest is back after a very long pandemic hiatus. They are back. They're doing a 10-day event at Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio. It'll start July 30th and run through August 8th. There will be several guest announcements. They're going to start announcing on this Thursday. So be sure to check back on our Facebook page for those announcements. And they've already promised at least 3 MCU stars, 3 actors or actresses from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's going to be huge. But if you want more information, head on over to www.pmxevents.com. You could always just follow us on Facebook, and anytime they drop any news or headlines, we'll be sure to reveal those things. And you better believe the countdown to the Geekcast are going to be heavily involved, because we've been waiting a long time for our friends at Celebrity Fan Fest to make their triumphant comeback. And that'll do it.
Well, we got one more bit of news that we haven't touched on that I want to drop real quick.
Go for it.
I just saw this come through the social media outlets here, and it says that filming for Cobra Kai season 4 has just finished, and they are going to be bringing that series in 2021. It's reported that it'll be produced and ready to go by the 4th quarter of this year. So that's some exciting news to look forward to if you're a fan of Cobra Kai like I am, and I know JC is.
Very cool.
And Ted is.
I heard it was pretty good. I heard it was real good.
You gotta check it out, people. It's real good.
As a fan of the original movies, this one definitely is doing it justice. It's a really amazing story. I'm very thankful Netflix is actually investing money in it, not just buying the rights, produce the season, and cancel it like they did with Designated Survivor. They're actually doing something good with it, and I'm very excited to see how this plays out and what more of the Karate Kid lore that they're going to jump into.
Yeah,
completely agree. Especially season 3. They really hit their stride. If they keep that momentum going, there's no limit to how great the show can be. Season 3 is by far their best, and it's pretty exciting right now.
And Kumiko's still beautiful. God.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
God bless.
And we'll end the show right there. For the countdown to the Geekcast, my name is Steady. Be sure to check us out every Monday night on Facebook as well as YouTube. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at Countdown City Geeks, and also check us out on Instagram as well as Twitter. If you want to send us a message about Army of the Dead, we want to hear from you. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Who was your favorite character? Send us a message on Facebook by clicking the send message button, or you can always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. For the Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this episode is the actual man, myth, legend, JC.
Thanks, Ted. Appreciate it. Go Avs, and stay tuned to the WrestleCast. We'll be live tomorrow, shortly after 9 p.m. Central Time, talking all about AEW Double or Nothing and a lot of changes on the horizon for All Elite Wrestling that they've just recently announced. So tons to talk about. Mike, Tommy, and myself will be talking all about it. So join us and live chat along with us.
Yeah, I hope I get the opportunity to do that this time. Last time we were plagued by some weird YouTube outage. So
bizarre.
Apparently what happened, and thankfully the entire stream made it
great
broadcasting wise. So
news.
if you missed last week's episode, and we had some technical issues on at one point, the whole episode made it. You can go back and watch the video on demand of it. There was a random YouTube outage where no one could view anything.
Yeah.
But thankfully the stream was still going through, still recording, and it picked up everything. So you can still see the full episode. Nothing got cut out, thankfully. So barring any craziness this week, we should be good to go.
Yeah.
So,
hopefully this time I can comment and watch you guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
Come join us.
And that is the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia.
Yeah, I'm not the man, the myth, the legend. I told Ted that I was going to go on strike after that nonsense there, JC.
All right. Appreciate it.
But I just want to say thanks to our guest here, Peoples. It was nice to have you on the show. It was a pleasure talking with you. Hope to see you again soon.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, last but definitely not least, making his debut on the show, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more, especially going head-to-head with Eliud, is
exactly
Peoples.
Got a lot of haters out there, but I just brush them off. Like if so
there you go.
I mean,
there you go.
Big horror fan. Looking forward to especially next week for The Quiet Place 2. I'm looking forward to good things and good feedback and good reviews on that movie. The first one was awesome, so this one I heard it just had a lot of heart stopping moments. So I'm looking forward to just those heart stopping moments, coming out on the stretcher,
Absolutely. Be sure to check back next week when hopefully we're talking A Quiet Place Part 2. Very exciting. Can't wait. Have a good night, folks. See you next week.
See ya.